There's an expectation when you see Cannibal and you open up a Cannibal Corpse record that you are going to see a Vince Locke image somewhere in there that is representative of what that band has done musically inside that record.
Definitely. I mean, he's been there since the beginning. I mean, he's done all our artwork. I mean, it's like, and we've grown with him. I think his art has grown and changed over the years.
I'm trying to get better with each subsequent album cover, trying to outdo myself.
He's an integral part of the band's mystique and the band's imaging.
Vince works really fast, and he would send us like pencil sketches, and then sometimes with a little bit of color on them, but mostly just pencil sketches, and from that we can usually discern what the cover's going to be.
I usually do at least 2 or 3 different sketches so the band has something to look at and choose from, send me the direction that they want. This is the original. It was watercolor and acrylic. Lots of experimenting. I didn't know what I was doing. Using the airbrush on the clouds. I haven't used too much, so it was a learning process getting that done.
Butchered at Birth. We use this as a promo item.
We covered it with butcher paper, but we also did just a plain white cover that said Butchered at Birth.
We did it so that people would go, wow, Cannibal Corpse, Butchered at Birth. Instead of them getting and take a look at it, they'd have to open it to get the idea of what was underneath here. And there's your shock value more than anything else, versus just open up and looking at it. It's like, wow, what's this? And then they rip it open and go, whoa!
Butchered is the best one, I think, still to this day. That's my favorite one. I actually plan on getting one of my custom Dean guitars airbrushed with Butchered at Birth on it.
Cannibal's gone into that status where basically you see that butcher baby. You know it's Cannibal. You can put that baby on something, you don't even put the logo, and you know.
Usually start with very rough little thumbnail scribbles, which is more about shapes and it sort of maps out what I want to do. Well, these were my first 2 sketches for Two of the Mutilated, but weren't graphic enough. So we went to that because we wanted it to be a sex act. And I just didn't think the composition was working right on that, so I went to that. This is a censored cover for Two of the Mutilated. It's like different parts of the same scene. This is the zombie finding the female zombie, opening up the sarcophagus.
The bleeding was a little bit different. I didn't think it was as strong of a cover as the previous ones.
We said, well, let's take a little piece of the zombie's bloody chest and we'll put that and make that the cover, and then we'll put the real artwork on the inside.
I didn't want to make them do it over, so I kind of became creative with that.
I was kind of upset with the censored cover for the bleeding.
I think he hated that I did that.
Sometimes we'd have Vince create 2 covers, and other times we'd just use a portion of the existing cover.
They were supposed to, for the censored cover, center on the central figure. They ended up blowing out this small little section of the guy's chest.
I was so afraid to tell him that I didn't like it because I'd liked everything that he did so much before.
It's very hard to make these decisions sometimes, and then when there's so much riding on your album, you don't want to have the cover detract from it. You want to have it be a big deal.
Paul called up and said, Chris Barnes is no longer in the band, but I had new ideas for the cover, obviously. Up until then, a lot of women get mutilated, and there was a lot of that in the lyrics. I wanted something on the cover that was against the men.
We're like, men are getting abused too. We're not misogynist.
That makes you cringe and wince.
The guy's got barbed wire around him, like mummified barbed wire. His dick is cut off, orgasm through torture.
Well, he usually bases his stuff upon song titles and lyrics that are given to him. Like Gallery of Suicide, there's just a gallery of different people that are like killing themselves. So he hit that one on the nose.
And the censored cover is the outside of the castle.
Somebody's got to jump off it, eh?
The uncensored cover, that was one of the covers that I liked the best because it didn't have any fantasy element to it. It was like regular people offing themselves as opposed to a zombie offing somebody or an alien creature knocking somebody's head off, literally.
Censored, no blood, no gore. That's why it's just bones. This had kind of a Japanese feel. I like some of the Japanese monster movies. The other one, lots of insect parts. It's interesting and it looks creepy. Obviously I went more for monsters this time than zombies. I have bits and pieces of ideas, and as I draw, more things come out. The arm sewn on is something I had done in a pen and ink drawing one time. I thought was kind of cool. It was this picture of this guy or killer that was collecting body parts. He's collecting these arms and sewing them to his side here. and you would have a wire from arm to arm, so when you lift them, they'd move. This painting was a big experiment of working on a different material. It's watercolor, but it's painted on this masonite panel. It's coated in clay. I'm pretty happy with it. This is for Gore Obsessed. We wanted to show somebody being ripped apart. And I had the idea of the guy on the ground with the hands and zombies coming up out of the ground. It's like an overhead shot looking at the person being grabbed. Just doodling and thinking, not knowing where I want to go. A lot of times, doesn't look so hot, but it's enough for me to know if it's something I want to develop further. This was when I first started working out the two ideas I had. One was the overhead shot of the guy being ripped apart. And I thought it was kind of hard to tell what was going on. So I did one more in perspective. It showed a lot more. And that's an early layout for the cover, where the body is going to be laying, the main character above him, hands coming up, and the horizon line. I think this one was a bit more surreal than some of the other covers. Just all the different things going on, different zombies in it. We put a lot of work into the different characters. I like the cape made out of faces. The German division of Middle Blade wanted a cover made just for them, since they have very strict limits of what they can and can't show. That was way too gory, so they wanted one of their own. It was hard to come up with something that still had the same violence to it without being graphic. I was pretty happy with it. I think it got it across. Originally, this was just for the digital release, available over the internet. And it was a year or two later that they decided to put out the album. So this was painted thinking it was just going to be on a screen. So it's a little smaller than some of the other ones, not quite as detailed. Want to be kind of sexy but gross at the same time. I think the vagina shape with the teeth is kind of common. A lot of people have done stuff with that. And it was just my take on it. I had like one cubby hole stuffed with a dead person for every year of the box set. It's been 15 years. And they had sort of that muscle stuff going on from the bleeding, with the weird flesh growing over the machinery. I was pulling some of the past covers, trying to, make a statement for the whole 15 years. They really wanted to do a comic book for the box set. I looked through the old albums and read a bunch of lyrics. Wanted to base it on one of their songs, so I picked one out, Unleashing the Bloodthirsty. So that's the one that I actually had some ideas for. That was probably the first time where I based the artwork on the lyrics of the song and not just the titles. Those are the portraits I had done for them, for the comic. Thought it'd be cool to do them all as zombies, which I hadn't done yet. You could kind of expect it would be one of the first things you could do is do the band members as zombies. It was the first time I got good pictures of everybody, saw what they looked like. Wretched Spawn, so I had to have these weird creatures coming out of her. I tried to push the limit as far as I could.
It's been pretty interesting over the years watching how suit and tie buyers deal with Cannibal Corpse.
To sell records, we did at some point have to censor the album covers. We had to censor the titles to some of the songs. We had to take the lyrics out of some of the stuff that were going into the stores.
Wretched Spawn, we did not have an alternate cover. That was at the point where we basically started giving retail the finger. This is it. We just want to do one version. We wind up with a lot of censored versions that just sit. The kids don't want them. So why should we bother making them?
Yeah, who wants a censored version when you can have the uncensored version?
If you're not going to stock it, I understand your position. We're not going to do a censored cover.
It's just ridiculous to begin with anyways, that anything in the world would be censored in any regard, any form of media, entertainment, or what have you.
Kids are very resourceful. If they want something, especially nowadays with the internet, they can find it. A tame cover just says the word kill. I felt really strongly about having just the really basic artwork about it. And we did talk about the backlash of the fans expect these over-the-top covers.
A lot of fans were really pissed off, I think, at the artwork, because it just said kill.
This sums up Cannibal Corpse in one short, concise word.
The band's main artwork is on the inside of the record.
It was meant to be the cover. And Paul called me up and let me know it wasn't going to be on there. Said, we really like it, but it's not going to be on it.
Let's just do that, but we'll still use Vince's art. That's like the art that we associate with the album, even though it's on the interior.
It was a good challenge to try and come up with something based on that one word. There's an old horror movie called The Man Who Laughs, where the guy's mouth gets cut into a permanent grin, where they cut the cheeks, so he's always got a smile. And that sort of inspired that. I'm nervous. Every cover, I'm afraid you're not going to like it. Hope they like it.
He pretty much nails it every time. We're always psyched. Like, he's working on the cover for this. We're like, man, it looks like it's going to be awesome. He sent us a sketch. It's going to be like some kind of zombie on a throne in some sick room with all kinds of body parts lying around. We're like, yeah.
It's my job to make them happy, so hopefully they're happy.
We can't thank him enough, really. Vince has done so much in developing a great visual image to go with our band's music.
He's the Derek Riggs for us. Derek Riggs did so much with Iron Maiden. It was, went hand in hand. When Iron Maiden came out with the record, well, if Derek Riggs didn't do the cover, it would have been probably bizarre back then. Like you'd be like, well, what the heck is this?
It's like he's ours now.
None of us has ever met him in person.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of like Charlie's Angels. They never met Charlie either. He's just kind of like the guy, they only heard his voice.
Vincent Locke is but a voice on the phone.
The only people I've talked to is Chris Barnes. Then when he left, Paul took over, and I've been talking to him.
For 12 years? I've talked to him on the phone countless amount of times. Many emails and all this stuff and everything.
They have called me when they were going to be in town, and just hasn't been able to happen.
It's pretty weird. You would think that we would have met him at least once by now. He's done every one of our albums. It's been 20 years and never met the guy.
Hopefully we'll meet him someday.
I don't think he exists on this plane of being. He is in another dimension, and I tend to let him stay in that spot.